Hi, everyone. Susan Blanchette. I'm the CEO and founder of Origen Air Purifiers. Do you have the clicker? Or do I?
Right there in the front.
This is it?
There.
Perfect. So we make air purifiers, and I just want to start and tell you a little bit of a story. I know we've been listening to lots of scientific studies, and I'm a lawyer, not a scientist, but I did used to translate science into legal speak for the courts for many, many years. As a teen, I read Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, and I was horrified that toxins in our environment accumulate in our bodies. I wanted to do something about it, and that's why I went into environmental law. And for 15 years, I was a litigator for the province of British Columbia, holding operators accountable for contaminated sites. Around that time, actually for quite a while during that time, my father had dementia. He was diagnosed at only 51. That's 1 year older than I am standing in front of you. And he was the healthiest person I know. He ran every day, he ate right. He'd been a civil engineer working in wastewater treatment plants and aluminum smelters. And because of my history doing contaminated sites litigation, I knew it wasn't genetic. It had to be environmental, but it's difficult enough to prove that when it's in the groundwater. How do you prove it's in the air? And it moves, as we were discussing at lunch, it's very difficult to measure these volatile organic compounds. So I eventually decided if I couldn't litigate better air, I would learn how to clean it. And Origen Air, this is our smallest unit for the home. And that is our large unit on the right there that has been in the commercial space for the last year and a half. We combine super plants that are genetically modified with a liver enzyme, with HEPA filtration and air quality sensors, so that we can measure air quality. And we do this, for one, like I like the line from Dirty Dancing, don't put baby in the corner. Like, why are we putting our ugly air purifiers in the corner? Why can't they be beautiful? So we've made beautiful air purifiers, but also sustainability as a core piece. So this is just my prototype I got last week. It's going to be 100% recycled plastic, bamboo. The pre-filters are already gray, and I just had it at the Pan Pacific Hotel last week for 48 hours. So in 48 hours, even in beautiful Vancouver, BC, we see gray filters. So these are the studies from the University of Washington. So I only got the global exclusive license to these plants. I did not invent them. I partnered with PhDs from University of Washington who over 15 years developed these plants. And these are the studies that were done in laboratory where they injected large amounts of benzene and chloroform and measured it over days. And it's in the Environmental Science and Technology December 2018 issue for you keeners in the audience. But what we also showed, and I'm sorry to disappoint you because there's a big urban myth that plants clean toxins out of the air, but we showed that the regular pothos didn't remove any volatile organic compounds, and our genetically modified pothos removed 82% of the benzene and 100% of the chloroform in these tests. So after that, the company's been around now for almost 5 years. And after that, we, during COVID, also patented an in-house patent on a UVC LED sterilization chamber. We haven't added this to our units to date because the LEDs are a little too expensive, but we patented it in advance. So we truly look at a multi-barrier approach. HEPA filters take out the large particles, the plants take out the gases that pass right through the HEPA filters, and then the UVC is there for bacteria and viruses such as COVID for future uses, because I'm just getting started. Something that really bugs me is that we treat indoor air at the expense of our planet. So since 2020, our greenhouse gas emissions from the built environment have doubled because we pull in air to a building, we heat it or we cool it, and then we just dump it and we pull in more. And it's like having a faucet running all day, every day, or like a bathtub without a plug. So I at least want to partially plug that hole. And this is kind of my means to an end to bring in revenue to fund my larger dream, which is a biosphere within a building or on top of a building that can recirculate up to 80% of the air in the building. This I would just want to explain a little bit more because this is the step towards how I can show that we can do it. This is a study we did in a LEED platinum building in downtown Vancouver. The filter on the right, that's 60 days. So, so often I'm told like, why are you selling air purifiers in Canada? And they're right. I've been on many trade missions to Southeast Asia, and I've been to COP28 to move our market where they need us the most, where it's a hot button issue. But this is a LEED platinum building in Vancouver. So it is a world issue. And even though you can't see it because of the wind, it is here, and we are breathing this. And this does shorten life and cause someone like my father to have dementia at 51 years old. And so I'm in the elongating life business. You can also see we reduced CO2 by 78%, 71%, and the TVOCs, which the scientists in the room will know is not a very accurate measure of VOCs. The air sensors that are sold on the market technically don't measure VOCs because they're in the parts per billion. So in our studies where we showed another study with the Pinnacle, we showed a 37% removal of all the BTEC substances in the field. And this was using sorbents. And I'm really excited to hear about the next or the last speaker who's going to talk about the sorbents, because this is how you collect volatile organic compounds such as off-gassing from carpets, glues, paints, car exhaust, cleaning supplies. Those are all releasing known carcinogens. And right now, the only way to accurately measure them is with sorbents that you send to a lab, have a GCMS that is tricked out, measure it down to the parts per billion. So yes, the Pinnacle cleans 8,000 cubic feet, and that's been commercialized for 1.5 years. The new, it's actually, I'm going to tell you one more quick story. This is called the Eliza. So one of my childhood best friends, I've been trying to name this for about 1 year since we started developing it. And her daughter, we lost 2 years ago. And just last week, we were out for the UVic. I won the UVic Alumni Award. And she said to me afterwards, why don't you call it Eliza? Because Eliza could bring fresh air to the world. So I'm really proud to say this is going to be named after Eliza, who spent at least 3 years of her life in Children's Hospital with breathing difficulties caused by inflammation. And then I hope Eliza can bring the gift of fresh air, not only to the world, but allow me to develop the biosphere, which will have a big impact on greenhouse gas emissions. So thank you so much.